talking about dialogue today. And yesterday, you guys discussed the story about Malik and William. And there was some good dialogue there. So, we're going to talk about why do we use dialogue in our stories. So here's some dialogue between Malik and William. "I can't stand that dumb old show," whispered Malik to Mr. Kreiser after his conversation with William. "I mean, what's with that guy anyway? He's obsessing over it like he's gone mad." "Now, Malik," said Mr. Kreiser angrily, his face getting redder by the second. Malik replied suddenly, "Dude has lost his mind. I'm done dealing with his constant Dora references." In your groups, I want you to talk about what you can learn about the characters from the dialogue. So what does the dialogue help us understand about the characters? Talk in your groups for about 1 minute. You and Jake.
Jake does. Tell us that Malik really is a
What do
problem.
you guys think?
How so? What are some specific evidence of that?
About their personality? What do you think we learned about Mr. Kreiser?
Helps understand that. Yep. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. This group over here, what can you tell me?
That Malik is like annoying Mr. Kreiser.
Yeah. So let's write that one down. Okay. So annoying, that's one character trait we learned. How about Richard, Jacob? What do you guys?
I
Kayla.
think that Malik is like he's a lame because he wants Jordan to
You mean William?
not like that. He's mad.
Mad. And middle group, what do you think?
So,
So a little more, just talking a little more generally, I like what I said. We learn about the character's personality, we learn about their traits, like whether someone's annoying or whether someone's mad. Good. We have,
so I was just saying, when you incorporate dialogue into your narrative, okay? Incorporating dialogue is one way of showing and not telling character traits. So like Lanaya said personality, and like you guys said mad or annoyed. So incorporating dialogue is a great way of showing and not telling that characters are mad. Instead of saying, Malik got mad at William, Mr. Kreiser got mad at the whole situation, you could say, like, "Now Malik," said Mr. Kreiser angrily, his face getting redder. Or by Malik saying, "Dude has lost his mind, I'm done dealing with his constant Dora references." Well, that shows us that he's angry, that he's upset with the situation, he's frustrated. So dialogue is a great way of showing and not telling, including showing and not telling into your writing.
and as readers, we infer from the dialogue. Right? We have 3 different kinds of dialogue over on the board. We are going to practice. So, you guys are going to get some sheets of paper that have some punctuation on them. You're going to get some green sheets of paper that have punctuation. You're going to get some random words as well. And you're going to practice making sentences with punctuation. How do I? We got 3 words here. Toilet paper, Mr. Kreiser, and couple.
Mr. Kreiser needs a couple of toilet paper.
Okay, so we're going to practice with dialogue though, okay?
Can you say what you said again, Joe, too?
Mr. Kreiser needs some toilet paper.
So to turn that into dialogue, maybe we'll say, "I need some toilet paper."
I need some toilet paper. So,
I think you got to do it.
So we could have,
I need some toilet paper.
I need some toilet paper.
toilet paper.
So maybe we're showing and not telling that I'm very frustrated and I need a toilet paper. So
I need some toilet paper, said Mr. Kreiser.
Maybe you need to go
shopping.
Yeah, you need to go buy something.
Okay, well, you guys can continue that story and me needing to buy toilet paper in your own experience.
Okay, guys, I have some quotes here. I have a comma and I have a period. Who can help me out? Where should Jacob? Can you tell
Comma
me?
goes right after the toilet paper. And a period after the end.
And a period at the end. Where do the quotes go?
At the beginning of the I.
Okay, before I.
End of point.
And at the end of the point. No, at the end of said.
Before or after the comma? Oh, after said?
Yeah.
So I need some toilet paper said? Said Mr. President?
No.
Like that?
No. After Mr.
No.
Riser goes after Mr. Riser.
No, it goes after the
Toilet paper.
Toilet.
After the comma.
No, doesn't it go before the comma?
Nope.
No.
So this is where it gets to be a little tricky. So like we said, there's 3 different ways
On
of
your
writing
pink
dialogue.
sheets, after you get some punctuation and some words, we want you to try to use the 3 different kinds of dialogue. And you're going to have to write on your own a little bit. Be creative. It doesn't have to make total sense, but the important thing is to use the punctuation rules correctly. Think about whether you want your dialogue at the beginning or at the end.
Well, remember, you want to use dialogue. Okay. So what
Mom
would you say?
said-
Since we can actually write the word
What?
said.
Anderson said.
Wait, what is that? The other word?
Nostrils.
Okay, right then. Well, would she say, Mr. President?
Mom
like Sarah?
said you have instructions.
She's talking, what would she
There
say?
you go. That could be.
it, just
That could be it. You already said your first one had the dialogue at the end, so now maybe you want to try dialogue at the beginning, and then Beyonce said or Beyonce explained.
So what's one thing we're missing?
Maybe, so you see the second one that's got.
Yeah, one more thing.
Maybe you could decide.
What?
Oh, Beyonce said you have a gigantic violin.
We're not done with this one yet.
What is that?
Okay, so we're going to read chapter 54, which is on 147. And remember your job. And don't be afraid to raise your hand if you see an example of conflict, setting, traits, figurative language. Okay, that billionaire and investigates behind the toilet like an inspector. DeAndre.
Jody investigates behind the toilet like an inspector.
Yes, what kind of...
Simile.
Yes. Good, nice observation. Like an inspector. Some figurative language, a simile.
So if you notice, the next section is in italics. This is what Jolly writes for her business letter. Pay attention to what you can infer about Jolly from how she writes.
I and my kids, Jeremy and Jilly, am deserving. You will see.
Take a minute and talk to your groups about what you would do if you were the this billionaire and you got this letter from Jolly. What would you be thinking? Go ahead.
Well, obviously she's socially educated, so
Foot. Then I think I'll wait to see if she catches the missing word herself. So I'm thinking there's some conflict going on here between Jolly and Levon.
She doesn't want to do everything for her. She wants her to learn the lesson.
Exactly. I like what Kyle said. Levon wants Jolly to be able to kind of figure this out on her own. Jolly, she just did it. I wanted to cheer like those cheerleaders you see at the games. Anyone see any figurative language there, Malik?
Metaphor?
No, simile.
Very close.
Yeah.
You like the cheerleader.
like her.
Oh, I didn't hear like.
I wanted to cheer like those cheerleaders you see at the games, but instead I made wrinkly faces.
One.
All right, you guys, so chapter 55 is kind of a difficult one. So sometimes what good readers do, they reread, and that's how you really understand a text. Sometimes if I'm reading something, I might read it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. And you notice different things each time, and that's how you become a better reader, by close reading. So we're going to go through 55 again as a class. It's a short chapter. And just like you did in your groups, with your jobs, if you notice anything, feel free to stop me. All right, back food packages land from the helicopters.
Take a minute and talk to your groups about what is Jolly talking about. Why is she bringing this stuff up? I want to hear from sort of what you think. Talk with your groups about that. Go ahead.
I have no idea.
Then we rely on our groups. Just talk about all these. For the sake of time, because we're running short on it. Anybody want to sort of volunteer what your group talked about? I'm curious about. This is difficult stuff. What do you think, Kyle?
We think that the reason why she was comparing herself to the rest of the world is because they're poor. She thinks she's poor too. But she's like, we're just alike.
What do you think, Lana?
Like, she would compare all the rest of the world, because, like, everybody got a destiny to, like, get a friend after start them, and how what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that you both are speaking to some, like, the first time I read this, I had no idea what she was talking about. But then, when I hear other people talk about it, it's talking about how she realizes she's got this destiny to her life, and she realizes that, you know what, as much as she might be very different from Levon, and very different from a lot of kids at school, she's also very similar. She's thinking about these common things that connect her to every other woman in the world.
Yeah, and that pain and suffering that Jolly has in her life, she has that in common with people, with women all over the world who experience pain and suffering too. So all that blood me and Jolly wonder together, where does it all go? A whole ocean of blood. Some good figurative language there, an ocean of blood. All those thousands of years, all the